One of the most annoying things about being a small business owner is that there are thousands of little things that you have to do every day. And those little things, while very important, are always serving to distract you from that greater mission of your business. So before you go trudging through all that mundane, annoying mess one more time, let me show you how to automate a lot of those parts of your business so you can set them and forget them and move on to what's more important. Today, I'm going to show you how to identify what needs automating, take you through some of the top things that I automate every single day, and walk you through some of the different methods of automation. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel, I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment and let me know what your biggest time suck is right now, because that's probably the thing you need to automate, and we'll talk all about that in the comments. But until then, let's get started. So first, let's talk about finding the gaps. So automation is a pretty simple concept. It takes the things that we do manually, it does them for us, right? But what that means is that you need to understand the gaps. It means that you need to understand where you're spending time that could otherwise be spent more productively on the core business. So for example, I, every month, just like everybody else, have to fill in my invoices and expenses and give those to my accountant. And it takes this time to enter it into QuickBooks and upload it to my CRM. And I have to get everything aligned and make sure that all of the information is in all these places so I have good tracking going. That takes forever, that takes hours. So what I typically do then is I just download everything into a CSV, I upload that into a spreadsheet, that spreadsheet automatically updates my CRM, that being ActiveCampaign, and QuickBooks at the same time. So whereas it used to take me hours to put all this information together, organize it, and upload it to my accountant, now it takes me a few minutes. It's a lot easier. So what I want you to do is to just take a week. I know that sounds like a long time, but just stick with me here and just write down what you're doing and when you're doing it. So if you wake up in the morning and the first thing that you do is accounting because you love to do accounting, no judgment. You write down 8:30 a.m. I started working on my accounting. 8:45 a.m. I took a break. 9:15 p.m. I resumed, and 9:30 I finished. Now you know how long it took you to finish the accounting at that moment. Then you can track how often you're doing it, how long it took you each time, and whether that's something that you can automate to make your life a little bit easier. You're looking for those things that are menial, administrative, things that don't take a lot of thought, but do take your time away from the productivity of the core business, of building your client base, of getting your product out there to the world, etc. Those are the things that you want to automate. All right, so now that we got a handle on that, let's talk about some of the top things that you can automate. So one of the most important, in my opinion, is billing systems. Now we kind of covered this a little bit in the last point, but really you want to get this as cohesive as possible. You usually have money coming in from all different sources. Even if you're selling one product, that might be on your website, on Amazon, through PayPal, through Stripe. Like, it could be 50 different sources and you don't even realize it. So you want that all to be in one place, and you want it to be constantly feeding in, so you don't have to do a lot of extra work. Your accountant knows what's going on, you know what's going on, you know how your sales are doing, etc. So putting your billing system into a single place and automating all of that movement instead of hiring someone to do it or doing it yourself is very valuable. Another big point is content distribution. So this is a really tough thing. Content distribution is not easy. If you haven't done it, you might think that it's easy, but it is not an easy process. You need to have different settings for different platforms, even if it's the same video, for instance. So Instagram Reels don't have the same time duration, caption length, hashtag amount. So much distribution, the way that you put things out, the timing, the scheduling, none of that is the same as it is on TikTok or as it is on YouTube Shorts. And so you need to make adjustments for those things. So whatever you can do to automate this process is really important. That meaning saving your hashtags so you have a bunch of different hashtag groups that are applying to different platforms. So maybe you have 6 different hashtags for TikTok where you have 30 for Instagram and you have 4 for YouTube, something like that. I'm just, making those numbers up. But the idea here is that if you can automate some of that content distribution to kind of make your life a little easier, a little more copy paste, or a little more it posts on its own, it's going to make your life a lot easier because content distribution is so tough. So just to get a little more specific here, let's say for instance that you're pushing hard on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. That's where you're really trying to win right now. Each of these videos being posted takes 5 to 15 minutes to prepare and schedule and get ready to go. So that's 10 to 30 minutes of time per one of these videos, even if it's the same video going from platform to platform. But we know that there are some things about each of these that we can change. So for instance, there isn't too much concern about the description link because it's pretty big on both of them. The hashtags might be less important on YouTube, but you only need like 4 or 5 to really have an impact there. So what you can do is you can have it be posted on Instagram Reels with the full description and the full hashtags and all that stuff. And then you have Zapier then put all of that information into a Google Sheet. You have the Google Sheet automatically pull some of that data out, so maybe it only pulls the top 5 hashtags, and then you have those hashtags go on YouTube Shorts along with the description. And so YouTube will then pull that information off of the Google Sheet and post it onto YouTube with your YouTube Short. That is a simple automation that you can do using Zapier, Instagram Reels, and YouTube. It's very easy to put together and it makes your life a lot easier. Another great thing to automate is your task assignment. So let's say, for instance, that you're a consultant and you work with a team, and when you take on a new client in your consulting business, there's a structured list of things that need to be done by particular people in your team in a particular amount of time. So Tristan needs to do the website analysis. Fiona needs to get into the Facebook ads and understand their KPIs there. You want those tasks to be in those people's laps immediately so that they can start working on it right away and there's no lost time. So you need to automate this. So what I do for this is I use a tool called Favreau, which is, in my opinion, the best collaborative task manager that I've found. You can check out my description for a link to it. It's amazing. And all you need to do here is you create a template with all of those tasks and their assignments built in. And once you create a new client, so you need to create a new client view, let's say it's Bob's Service, and you create a client view for Bob's Service. Bob can be invited to see how these tasks are coming along. You invite your 2 team members, Fiona and Tristan, and then Fiona and Tristan already know what has to happen because that template has been auto-built into that new client view. So they can know, okay, this is what I have to do, this is when it's due, etc. And then they can keep people updated with how it's going. It's a really cool tool and it's super easy to automate. Next is cleanup. So you get a lot of spam email, right? We all get a lot of spam email, and the longer you have an email account, seems like the more spam email you get. Well, you can set rules to sort those emails into another folder or auto-delete them altogether, so that once you're sure that everything coming from a particular source is junk, you can just auto-delete it and you never have to think about it again. So instead of having an inbox that is 8,000 emails long, you can just delete everything in that box or have it auto-delete for you, and you don't have to think about it. You can only look at the legitimate important emails. Next, let's talk about social media engagement. So engaging with other accounts and other people on social media, it's fun, it's enjoyable, but it's tough because it takes time to do properly. And the only way that you can build your brand that way is to be consistent, do it for a long time, and be personalized. You can't send the same comment to 1,000 different people. I guarantee you've seen those comments on people's pages where it's like, oh, come to my website, or a link to somebody else's page or something like that. And it's just spammy. Nobody likes it. Nobody's gonna click on it. You're not gonna build any interest or engagement that way. You need to personalize. That is the most important part about engagement. You can check out this video for a lot of information on engagement, but the point I'm trying to make here is that personalizing that engagement means that you have to spend a lot of time to do it. If you have to watch the video to give some specific feedback or a specific comment, if you have to read the post to do the same thing, it's tough, right? It's not easy. So you need to find a way to balance between spending less time to do it and personalizing the experience for anybody who is reading that comment. So here's what I've done to kind of help with this problem. So what I did is I took all of the comments that I've made over the last several years on YouTube and Instagram, and I categorized them. So I put them into a category for marketing strategy, one for email marketing, retargeting emails, abandoned cart, Facebook ads, a whole bunch of different categories. And then I set up an automation so that if a video comes in based on a certain search, so let's say marketing strategy, it'll say, oh, there's a new video with the search marketing strategy, and it will give me the title of the video and it will give me the URL of that video. Then I take one random comment from that list that's related to marketing strategy of 30 or 40 different comments, and I randomly assign it to the title and URL row, okay? So if I have a video that is best marketing strategy tips for 2022 URL, and then my comment might say something like marketing strategy is so vital, or I love this video, great approach to strategy, something like that. So it sounds like me because it's a comment that I've left in the past. It's basically, it is me, okay? And so what I can do is I can then say, all right, is this comment, does that match the title that I'm looking at on this video? Yes, okay, great. If not, I just have it randomly pick another comment from that list. And so then I can click on the video, I can watch about a minute of it to make sure that it aligns, leave that comment and move on. So what used to take me 3 to 5 minutes to make sure it aligned, to type it out, to put the like so I knew that I already commented on this video, and then to move on, now takes me 30 seconds to a minute. It takes a huge amount of weight off. The benefit here is that you're able to give real interaction to YouTube videos that provide something related to what that video is without needing to write it out every time. So it's kind of the best of all worlds. You don't have to search for the video. You don't have to retype the comment, have typos, etc. all over the place. You have everything that you need at your fingertips. It's an easy copy paste. Now, obviously this is not the only solution here. You could use something like $80.com to accomplish the same thing that's only for Instagram right now, but it will load all of the comments for a specific hashtag you're following. You can comment on them, or you can take responses that you've already given and paste those in there as well. It's a pretty good system. But it's important to find the solution that works best for your business. Just happens to be that I'm happy with a spreadsheet, and that works really well for me. So now let's talk about some automation methods that you can use to build out these automations and be really successful here. There are 3 main ways to automate. 2 are kind of technical, 1 is a little bit less so. So let's talk about one of the technical ones first. That is native integrations or native automations. So these are integrations / automations that are built into your systems. So for instance, if I want to connect WooCommerce to ActiveCampaign, I just need to go to each app and make sure that they know that the other one exists, and that's all it takes to make that connection happen, because the 2 companies have already worked together to make that happen. So you don't have to do anything extra other than letting each of them know that the other one exists, and it's done. But native integrations aren't limited to just 2 different systems that talk. One system by itself could be native, okay? So what I mean here is something like ActiveCampaign, which has contact management because that's its core strength. We're talking about a system that sends out emails, SMSs, etc. Its core strength is to manage the contacts, and it has a very strong automations build out inside of the system that allows you to manage when contacts go to what system or what email list, or when they get sent certain emails. If they open, you take an action. If they visited the page after 6 months, you take an action, etc. So it's able to understand what's going on your website and what it should be doing at that particular time based on the automations that you've set up inside ActiveCampaign. The huge benefit to native integrations and automations is stability. One of the hardest parts of building a program to integrate with someone else's program is that somebody is going to make an update at some point, and that you, because you're an individual or a third party that isn't necessarily associated with that system, have to figure out how it's messed up your setup, and you have to go make those corrections. But in a situation where there's a native integration or there's a native system that doesn't require any extra connection, they're doing that for you. So you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, this broke my app, because it's not going to. They're already going to have fixed it. Next is non-native or third-party integration. So these are automations and systems that require you to tap into some other system. So if you have an app that you created and you want it to work with ActiveCampaign, you need to use their API. That's their system that allows you or any other program to tap into ActiveCampaign and get some use out of it. Or if you're trying to get 2 apps that you work with to talk together, but there's no native integration, so say Instagram and YouTube, there's never going to be a native integration there, you can create one using Zapier or Integromat. You can check out this video for a lot of information on Zapier and how to use it, but the idea here with this sort of automation is that you're effectively the developer. I mean, that does mean that you can program the whole thing yourself, but like we just talked about, if something changes, you've got 20 hours of catch-up work to do. So unless you absolutely have to, like it's your app, why not just use a system that's pre-built for this, because they'll make all those corrections when there's an update. Then the final type of automation is to hire a virtual assistant or a VA. You know, you may be saying to yourself, that's a human, that's not automation. But remember that the idea behind automation is getting things off of your plate so you can focus on the important parts of your business. So I suggest hiring a virtual assistant because there are a lot of things that are menial but can't really be done without a human. So a good example here, when I make my videos, I always create a caption file to go with each one. I upload that to Descript, which is a great caption service, and that does most of the work for me, but I still need to go through and listen to the whole video to make grammatical changes, to fix little word differences, etc. And honestly, a VA could save me a lot of time here because that takes 2 to 3 times the length of the video just to make all of those corrections. Now, maybe I'm a perfectionist, but I think that that is something that is really important that I really need to take my time with. So a VA could really help me, assuming that they're grammatically correct, to fix that issue, okay? There are hundreds of things that a VA can do. It's not just this. The point is to get them to take those little things that weigh you down off your shoulders so that you can be more productive, as with all things. So anything that is really requiring a human, you should look for a VA for. All right, so when should we use each of these different methods? Well, this is fairly straightforward. I would say get a VA, no matter what. It's always a good idea, no matter your situation, because they're always gonna be worth the cost to get those little things, those little human things off of your plate. But then I would say native integration first, non-native second, because the closer it is to the two systems working together, the easier it's gonna be for you to execute without having to do any little changes on your own. But honestly, if you can't find an app that works with other apps, if it's something that doesn't have any kind of Zapier or Integromat integrations, I would consider not using that system at all because it's going to be very difficult for you to make those connections. I kind of base a lot of my decisions on whether there is a Zapier integration associated or not. We are going for ultimate laziness here. What's the easiest, laziest way to accomplish each goal? That's what we're looking for. So just before the end of this video, a really important point, build a knowledge base here. So when you're building these automations, they can be a little complex and sometimes you can lose track of things. It's really important for you to write down what you're doing so that you can remember what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. Because let's say that 6 months from now, something breaks on that automation. It might be the most amazing automation in the world. It might be highly complex. If you don't remember and you didn't write it down, it's gonna take you 2 or 3 times as long to figure out what the problem was and to fix it. Or let's even say nothing broke, it's working perfectly, but you wanna duplicate it for some similar process. You're not gonna know what adjustments to make those changes without taking 2 or 3 times longer than you should if you didn't record what those things were that you did to make the automation work the way that it did. So it's important to write this down because we don't remember everything. We shouldn't actually be trusting our memories as much as we do. Honestly, automation is so worth it to save you some time. It does take a little bit of time to set up sometimes, but it's gonna help you save time and in the long run, make some money. I hope that this was helpful for you. Let me know the biggest time suck that you're facing right now. We can talk about how to automate that. I would love to talk to you about it in the comments. Otherwise, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.